Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in the Darkness Among Us update to Dead by Daylight, going for the Adept Legion achievement. This is to get a merciless killer as the Legion. This is going to be done from the killer's side. You're going to need Legion for this, so make sure you grab them from the DLC pack or the in-game shop. You also need to make sure you get them to at least level 10 in order to open up 3 perk slots. The 3 perks you want to equip and only equip are going to be Discordance. Then you are going to want Mad Grit, and then finally Iron Maiden. Leave the 4th slot empty if you have that available to you. Do whatever you want for add-ons or offerings, and then once you have your setup ready, make sure you start the game. So thankfully Legion is going to be a pretty effective killer. Their main gimmick is to be able to hit left trigger to enter Frenzy. When you enter Frenzy, you are going to get a nice little speed boost, and then if you happen to hit someone while in this mode, you're going to put a status condition on them known as Deep Wound. So if you ever find yourself in an engagement with a survivor, what you want to do is make sure you hit left trigger to enter Frenzy. Make sure you use your little speed boost in order to rush up to them and then hit them with a Frenzy attack that should put Deep Wound on them as well as injure them. Then you want to hit left trigger to go out of Frenzy, and then you want to make sure you chase them down and then use your normal attack to down them. The downside to the Frenzy attack is it can only be used to injure. You cannot use it to down someone, so you have to make sure you quickly switch out of it whenever you do land that first hit. Another reason for that is you want to make sure you preserve your Frenzy meter the best you can, because it is going to deplete if you do stay in it too long. You are going to have a little bit of a stun coming out of Frenzy, so make sure you keep that in mind. That's going to give the survivor a little bit of time to build some distance, so make sure you do it as soon as you land the hit. That way you can recover as quickly as possible and then get back to your normal chase. The upside to being in Frenzy, though, is you are allowed the ability to vault. So if you are playing against a survivor who is trying to loop you around pallets or windows, make sure you take advantage of them, especially if they drop the pallets early and don't use them to stun you. You can use that to punish accordingly, but again, you can only use the ability to injure, not to down. So make sure you keep those things in mind. Don't use the ability on a survivor who is already injured, and only use it on someone who is going to be healthy. That being said, the Deep Wound status condition is going to be a great pressure tool. The reason for that is once you put Deep Wound on someone, it's going to require them to mend themselves before they can heal. What it's also going to do is it's going to put a timer on this survivor. And if that timer happens to run out without them taking care of it, they are automatically going to enter the dying state and be downed automatically. So thankfully, this need for an agency to recover from a deep wound status condition is going to help keep survivors off of the objective, so you can use that to further stall the game. Also, make sure you take advantage of Frenzy to pressure any survivors, especially if they are trying to give you the shake on a loop. Being able to vault is going to be very useful on someone who really likes to loop you around pallets, for example. So just make sure you use that pressure game, and then you should be able to chase people to where you need them to get going. And if worse comes to worse, you can always just put the Deep Wound status condition on them, which will pull them off of whatever they're working on in the first place. But definitely use it as more of a pressure tool rather than something that will give you easy downs. The sprint that you get during the Frenzy is also going to be a very useful tool in order to close the distance. Let's say you have a survivor who's going to be across the map from you. You can use this little speed boost to help you get there super fast. This is especially useful if the survivor is already injured. So what you can do is you can burn your whole meter sprinting over here, and because you don't need to hit them with a deep wound slash, you can just use your normal attack once you burn your meter. The perk setup that we have on Legion is also going to be very useful if you are working against survivors who like to group up. The first perk is going to highlight any generators nearby you that have 2 or more survivors working on it. And the second one is going to be very useful when you down someone and are trying to bring them to a hook. If you have a teammate come up to you to try to body block or stun you, don't be afraid to go after them and use your normal attack. Legion's other perk is going to allow him to have no cooldown if you are carrying someone. So you should have enough time to land a quick hit in without the risk of having the person you are carrying break free. As for the third and final perk, it's going to be a little situational in its use. However, it is going to be very useful when it does kick in. It's basically going to reveal the location of any survivor who is stepping out of a locker. It's also going to put the expose status on them temporarily, which is going to allow you to down them in one hit even if they are healthy. So do take advantage of that one. And with that out of the way, that's going to pretty much cover the basic strategy on using the Legion, but don't forget, nothing beats good Dead by Daylight fundamentals, which should guarantee you the Merciless Killer rating. Remember to get your hits, downs, and hooks in, and remember to spread them across all 4 members of the Survivor team. Hopefully you should do well enough in all 4 of the major killer categories in order to warrant the Merciless. Once you get it, you should be good for the achievement. Of course, you can always check how well you did by hitting right bumper once on the results screen, checking the categories and seeing what you need to improve on. But once you do manage the +2, you should be good for the achievement. 20 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.